What up? Welcome to Chuckin Buckets, part of the Fanatic Sports Network here on YouTube. As always, I'm the stat guy. You know I got my co-host KB in the building with me. What's going on tonight, KB?
What's good, stat guy? You doing all right today, man?
Hey man, we doing good. You know, the calendar done flipped. Time to get serious about some basketball. I think basketball can kind of take center stage now. Hey man, saw in the game the other night. Have got fans running down trying to tap Brian on the head. What you think about that, man?
Man, when I seen it, man, I had to kind of go back and kind of replay it a little bit, man, and do a little research because I didn't see it live, and I'm in my mind, I'm like, how does a guy get that close to the players, right? You know what I'm saying? From a
Mhm.
security personnel, from the person seating, making sure you in the right seat, that particular person, like, how does a guy walk all the way down and then put his hands on a professional player or somebody that's playing a game, professional sport, entertainer, whatever that looks like, and think this is okay. You know what I'm saying? I think that speaks a lot to the maybe some security issues at the arena, something like that. But that can't happen, man. And there's got to be an example set for that. There's got to be some rules maybe tightened up around security and what fans can do because we know fans are already out of control already, right? And we don't know this man's intentions coming down, whether they were good or bad, or he was just drunk. But you can't put anybody or professional player in that type of situation.
Well, and I mean, any player, I'm surprised he got to Brian. You would expect that he would have his own personal security bench side somewhere, but maybe not. I mean, with the world being as crazy as it is today, you can't trust intentions of anybody. You don't know what they're trying to do, but I was shocked. I think we're definitely going to see some stuff happen. Obviously, he got kicked out, probably banned from ever attending an NBA game again, but it's just like, man, was that worth it? Was those 10 seconds, 15 seconds worth it?
Yeah, just to go viral for a little second, man. But yeah, they just got to do better from a security standpoint, man.
Now
You know,
it'd have been different if Bron still wore the headband. You know what I'm saying? You stole the headband, sell that thing on eBay for a couple mil or something. Maybe
right? He didn't get nothing of it.
but you didn't even get no gear, nothing. Like, what are you doing?
Exactly. And I know it's kind of Brian's thing to always kind of sit at the end of the bench though too, which not saying it's Brian's fault, but depending on the arena, I can't remember which arena this was, but maybe it just makes it a little bit more easier to get to Brian or get to these players because a lot of those seats are right beside the players, maybe right across if you're talking about court side underneath the basket.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, no doubt they're close now, but yeah, I think it just speaks to being able to
Well,
tighten up
man,
this.
I mean, I can think back to like in the playoffs where you see guys going crazy on the bench. Like, man, they dang near in the stands down there in that bottom corner with people right behind them. So, but you normally see the yellow jackets of security or whatever standing in between them and the fans. But it was definitely, in me watching it was weird. Like, it didn't make sense how he even got there. Just
Right.
magically, he was there. Like, he was a magician poof. And I was like, man, this is wild.
Yeah. No, that was wild. That was wild to see, man. Hopefully they get that under control and do a little bit more security around there.
Well, look, man, as we move this thing on forward, man, the obviously the Warriors have dealt with injuries, suspensions from Draymond, obviously trading Jordan Poole. They've been going through some stuff. Is the dynasty over? Is it time for them to tear this thing down and start from scratch? What you think about the Warriors?
I think it's past time, man. I think once that tape got released from Draymond punching Poole, once that got released, not necessarily that it happened, but once it got released, it's been a downhill effect. You know what I'm saying? You got the Draymond situation, even going back to the Wiggins situation before, where he was missing some time, and nobody really knows what he was missing time for. Was it this? Was it that? Baby mama, not baby mama, like whatever it is, like those things kind of start picking up. Draymond Poole situation picks up. Kaminga complaining about playing time. That picks up. Clay not being Clay, what I'm saying? You're starting to see some of that. He just can't get in a rhythm. I'm not sure exactly what's going on with Clay because he's getting the shots and just not as effective as he used to be, man. But I think it leads to like, what do we do next? Like, what's the next move? Is it a breakup or do we try to rebuild around Steph or what?
Yeah, I'll be honest. I wonder about the injury from Clay. They say all the time for athletes, it's not physically recovering, it's mentally recovering. And I
Right.
wonder, you got to be half crazy to be considered a shooter anyway, right? I mean, you just have to be different. Like that
Yeah.
mindset, oh, I just missed four, you're in trouble. I'm about to hit the next 10. Like there's very few people that can do it at that level, and I wonder if mentally he might just be broken and hasn't come back from the injury.
I think that's a good point, man. Like you said, any kind of injury like that, and definitely dealing with any kind of knee injury, anything like that, like it's gonna wear on your brain, man. Like, can I make the same move that I did before? No matter the rehab. Like, we've seen cats kind of bounce back from certain things, like, like maybe even like a KD situation, right? Like, KD's gonna be KD, but he's still not the same KD he was. But some of these athletes can still, perform at high levels. But Clay, what I'm saying, he don't have that height advantage like KD has, right? So he's still wanted to be even that two-way player. And you're seeing that on the other side too. Like he's not as, good on the defensive side like he was, and now you're seeing it on the offensive side. So I think the smart move here would be to kind of, see what we can get for some of these players. And I think that's why was it the GM, the guy that left, I can't remember his name, but he leaves, and I think recently he just kind of got bought into with the Commanders. He just got bought in
Mhm.
with the Washington Commanders as far as a leadership group on there, an investment group there. And like I feel like he knew something was coming. What I'm saying? He knew something down the line because what I'm saying, he had a great gig. But I think he's seen some of the writings on the wall and knew that it was going to be a breakup time coming. And do I want to be a part of this, or do I not want to be a part of this? So what I'm
Yeah,
saying,
and I think this is the prime example of being that GM or being the vice president of operations or whatever you want to call it. You have to be so in tune of being willing to pull the eject button at the end of this dynasty and
Mhm.
say we're not chasing one more. Because I felt like they were just chasing one more, and now it may have set them back multiple years. Because you look at with Draymond's suspension history, like he's one blow up away from being gone for the year.
Yeah.
So the price tag on him is very diminished. Clay Thompson can't hit water if he fell out of a boat in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean right now. So what is somebody going to give up for him? Clearly, they're not going to trade Steph. And then you look at like the young talent. I mean, Wiggins is so hot or cold. I mean, it's just they got some pieces, but it's like, what do they have of actual value as far as some guys? So, and to kind of translate that, because I'll be honest, so kind of the next topic we're going to hit on is the trades. A good home for Clay Thompson might be LA. They need some shooters, right? And so we had the news come down today, north of the border, keeping us busy on a Wednesday, making the trade with the Pacers. Tell me about that trade. What went down with that?
Yeah, man. Definitely some little breaking, I guess semi breaking news. At some point we knew the Raptors were going to move Siakam, what I'm saying? They had already moved the other guy to New York. They knew it was coming. So looking like okay, Pacers receive Siakam, future second round pick, but the Raptors get Bruce Brown, Jordan Nware, Kira Lewis, two 2024 first round picks and a 2026 first round pick from the Pacers. Definitely look like the Raptors in the rebuild phase, man. So if we're talking about winners and losers, in my opinion, right here, man, like I like both sides of this. I like what the Pacers get. I mean, they've got some young talent there. We know what Halliburton brings. We know what Miles Turner brings to the table. Um, we've got the shooter on the wing out there as well. Like this could be the maybe that piece to kind of get them maybe over that Boston hump because like they've been letting Boston get them the last couple of times, I believe, through the regular season, and see if we can get them in the top three in the East. From the Raptors standpoint, we know it's a rebuilding phase. They got a lot of young talent back. They got some first round picks coming. I know you kind of mentioned like OKC and how they built up their organization through those first round picks, but I like this for both sides, man. What you think?
Yeah, the one where I like the guy. He's got some star quality to him. Man, 3 first rounds in the NBA. That's a tough pill to swallow, especially 2 in 1 year. I mean, I know you keep your 25, but I guess I'd almost like it better if you went 24, 25, 26 and go get somebody this year. So the Pacers have already kind of said, there's nobody really where we see ourselves drafting this year that we like. So I get it. The Pacers are a team that's close enough to be dangerous in the playoffs that I really do like the move. I love this move from Toronto's perspective. They're unloading their young talent early to get top dollar, top draft picks, and they're kind of going that OKC route, stacking up on draft picks, multiple first rounds, multiple years, and we're going to see some shaking and baking up north of the border up there in Toronto.
Yeah. So even think about like when Shea gets traded from the Clippers to OKC, right? You know what I'm saying? It's a young team. He's that guard. You know what I'm saying? He coming in. You know, he was good with the Clippers. Don't get me wrong, but he gets to OKC. He's got a more dominant role. He comes into himself. Boom, they top 2-3 in the East. Toronto just made a move. They get RJ Barrett. They get quickly from the Knicks. And now, okay, let's put some young talent around this other young talent, and let's just see what comes of it. Like, it's not bad.
I'll be honest with you. I think the piece I'm like most of all for Toronto is Bruce Bowen. I mean, you got a 6-man, a veteran leadership. He's been around the league, played for a bunch of teams. It feels like he can't really find a home, but I think he's gonna kind of realize that this is who he is now. Is kind of father time looking after these young cats and teaching them how to be professionals. And I think that could be a really good look for them. Give you some senior leadership in that locker room with this young talent. So hopefully them boys ain't acting a fool.
Yeah, right. It's a champion. Bruce Bowen got a ring.
Yeah.
Bruce Brown, he's got a ring, so he's good.
What do you think are some other teams that either need to make a move or that you would like to see make a move, even if it's something off the wall that you would like to see happen?
Yeah, man. I think I got to bring my Lakers in the conversation every time we talk about making the moves, which is kind of bad because I feel like we never get to a point where it's like, okay, I like what we got. I thought I liked what we got until I seen the last 10, 15 games here, even after the play-in tournament, right? So I know this name been thrown around a lot around here is like DeJounte Murray, and I like the move. If we could get him, you know what I'm saying, set him up at the point guard, and hopefully we're able to move some pieces when it comes to Russell. I'm not sure about Hachi yet. Like I said, they want to keep him, they don't want to keep him, but I don't think anybody's off the table when we look at those guys or what's the other guy, a little defensive guy that we got as well. Like I think Lakers they need to make a move, man. Like LeBron's time is winding down, AD's time is winding down. It's like every year becomes now or never. And I think this is a now or never situation that we got to make a move before that break.
Could you see AD being part of a move? Do you think they move AD to try to get some young talent around Bron if the right offer became available?
I don't think I see that only because they probably feel like LeBron about to go in a year or two, right? Like if his son come out and go to the league, he probably not going to the Lakers because draft picks or the NBA probably wouldn't even allow that to happen, right? They want to move that money around, so they're gonna want to move Bron around too. So knowing that's coming up, I think they would still try to hold on to AD and try to bring some other talent around. Like I said, maybe it's that Murray. Still try to keep Austin Reeves around. Like there's some other young cats out there too that that's on the team that's up and coming. But I would see AD possibly stay there.
As far as the Lakers go, man, I still, and I've been saying it for a couple years, Klay Thompson just makes all the sense in the world. Now, do the Warriors actually sell? Probably not. Do the Lakers have the pieces to get him? Also, probably not. But like, as far as just making sense, I don't know if there's a guy in the NBA that makes more sense for another team than somebody like Klay going to play with LeBron, where all he has to do is stand out there and shoot.
Right. Yeah.
Because
needed though, like needs that.
Yeah. What as far as some young guys, I mean, obviously the news of Ja Morant out for the year. Do you see Memphis probably just staying pat now? Obviously, they started off horrible without him. They're not going to the playoffs now without him. Do they stand pat, or do you see them moving some pieces?
I don't know, man. I don't think I see them moving any kind of big pieces because I feel like the pieces they moved they recently did, like they got smart, right? In the off season with a couple of picks behind that, and unfortunately they just haven't seen all those pieces together because of the Morant, the Morant suspension. You know what I'm saying? Then you had some injuries. I think Bane might have been injured. Jackson might have been injured for a little bit, so they've never really seen all these pieces just gel. 10, 15, 20 games in, and now the Morant injury happens, and I can see them, kind of riding this season out. Let Bane do his thing, let Jaren Jackson do his thing. But obviously, there's no championship team right there until Ja comes back, right? So I can see them riding this out for a little bit and trying to build that bench up a little bit, if anything.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, I agree. They want to see what they have, and it stinks that they can't. You had the suspension, then you had the shoulder injury, so it really sucks that they haven't been able to see what they have and where they actually are. One team that I think is not done making moves is the New York Knicks. What you think on the Knicks?
I like them. The Knicks coming out aggressive, man. Like they're like it's now or never as well. Like they're always coming around. It would seem like that fifth or sixth spot, kind of in the East because they're kind of it's hard for them to compete with the Bucks, even the Sixers in the East as well. But I like what they're doing. They're like now or never, man. I think they might be still missing another piece and also being able to define some roles on the team. Like I said, let's make sure that we're running everything through Brunson and Randall after that, and not vice versa. Because I think at the end of the day, it's going to be Brunson to carry that torch.
Yeah, and so kind of switching up. I know the NBA really has seemed like you still have the Bronze and the ADs and the Stephs, but we're starting to see this new wave of talent kind of emerge and kind of make a path for themselves. A hot topic this last weekend and this week, Gigi Jackson from the University of South Carolina became the second youngest player in NBA history to have back-to-back 20-point games at 19 years, 245 years old. So, hey man, dude's looking battled around in the G League, got himself back up, made it work out.
I like it, man. If you can do that at the highest level, at that young of age, the future's bright for him. Like I like it.
What's maybe a rookie or second year? Who else you kind of been shocked by this year? Been a pleasant surprise that maybe you weren't expecting as much from. And
I think
while you
go
I was
ahead,
gonna
go
say,
ahead.
while you think, and I'll give you mine. So for me, I've been greatly surprised by Chet. I know what he did at Gonzaga, but the body type just scared me. I worried about could he stay healthy. I worried about the physicality. I know the league isn't as physical as it was in the 80s or 90s, but still the dude's like 7'1", 140 pounds, soaking wet. I worried about the physicality of the game, but dude's been balling, showing off the mid range. I mean, he's been playing really good. Obviously the rebound numbers aren't what you would expect for a 7'1" guy, but that's just in the change of the game. With the deep threes, you get long rebounds. But that's probably the one for me is obviously, which is weird too, because I said that he could contend for rookie of the year, but kind of just said that half joking because now he's in contention for rookie of the year.
Yeah, I
So,
remember us kind of talking about that between him and and Wemby as well. But you know what? I might throw Wemby's name out there, honestly, as far as a little bit of surprise. Like he came in with a lot of hype, but I was one of the guys that was like, the physicality of this game is going to change this man's game. It's going to take him a second, you know what I'm saying, to try to get where he needs to be. Obviously, the height helps, and allow him to shoot over people and things like that. But when I look at the footwork and how he's getting the rebounds, he's doing the blocks, he's doing the other things. Like I'm impressed, man. I'm impressed, man. I didn't think it would come as fast. With the Spurs organization because they like to slow roll some players, man. But when you're number one pick, I guess you can't really slow roll it though.
true. So KB, I just hired you. You're now the GM of my basketball team. We're doing a fantasy draft. Number one overall pick, Joker Embiid. Who you taking to build the team around?
As it says right now, man, I still gotta roll with the Joker, man. Like be able to score, rebound, job assists, bring the ball up the court. I mean, disregard he just won a championship. Like I'll even take that out of the picture right now. But I think the consistency that which I've seen over the last few years, like puts me like, okay, this is the man, like this is the man, and no knock on what Embiid's been doing. Like he's been averaging what 30 a game last 10, maybe 10, 15 games, maybe even 10 rebounds a game, and putting up MVP numbers this year opposed to the year he actually won it, in my opinion. I think I still got to roll with Joker, man. Like he just brings everything consistently, and I've right now, Embiid is consistent, but I've seen times where he hasn't been consistent. I've seen the injuries, kind of hold him back. I've seen him get frustrated when, Harden went out of the playoffs and like, what do I do? Um, but a lot of that success, I think we got to give a shout out to Tyrese Maxey. I mean, Tyrese Maxey opening up that court, him coming into his game has allowed Embiid to kind of make the moves that he makes.
Yeah, I think I go Joker myself. Um, Honestly, man, we get this question all the time. I'm kind of shocked. Like, because in my mind, it's not that close. Because offensively, Joker can just do so much more. But with
Yeah,
the ball handling, the 3-point game, I mean, the assists, his offensive game is just so much more evolved. But I guess, I mean, you get that emotional leadership from Embiid, and you look at a cat from back in the day, like a Kevin Garnett. Like sometimes you need that emotional leadership on a team that
oh,
if you're
no.
trying to do some things. Um, One final question for you before we get out of here. Um, is the Luca and Trey Young trade, does that go down as probably one of the worst draft night trades in NBA history when it's all said and done?
That's tough, man. That's tough. It's looking, hindsight, they're like, man, yeah, we missed out on Luca, man. But honestly, I gotta go back to even when Kobe got traded that night. Kobe gets traded from from the Hornets. The Hornets trade him to the Lakers. Like, what would the Hornets have been with, a prime time Kobe? There's no doubt in my mind he comes in and makes an impact right then and there. Because at that time, like the Hornets still had a young team. Like he's not waiting behind Eddie Jones. He's not waiting behind Van Exel. You know what I'm saying? Once he goes to the Lakers, like he might have needed that time to develop. Don't get me wrong, but he would have came and made an immediate impact from that Charlotte Hornets. So it's hard for
Well,
me to overlook that one.
well, with that too, though, he got traded to the Lakers, and then Jerry Buss went out and got the big diesel. And obviously, the diesel wasn't. But you talk about something that changed NBA history. Shaq was fixing to resign with Orlando. Him and Penny was still together. I mean, maybe
Yeah,
Penny doesn't get hurt a second time. Like that's the one for me. But you're right. That one, obviously, one of the top 5 all time greats getting traded on the draft night. Tough.
yeah, yeah. But hopefully Luca, man, I like Luca's game, man. And hopefully he can get him a championship here, soon. I like what him and Kyrie is kind of being able to gel together going into this new season. Like looks like they're playing off each other a little more, and then now both of them get you 25 or 30 a game and still play their game. You know what I'm saying? Nothing seems forced to like the few games that I've kind of watched, and I like it. I like what they got going on.
But well, hey, everybody, man, we appreciate y'all tuning in to Chuckin Buckets with me and KB. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, throw us a like, get in the comments section, let us know, give us some questions for our next show, anything you want us to talk about. We just like to talk hoops. KB, man, final thoughts. Give me a game to watch this weekend. I'm at home by myself. What do I need to have on?
Man, it's gonna be tough not to watch some football this weekend, Jeff. I mean, NFL football. Even though I know we're talking Chucking Buckets, but I think a lot of talk's gonna be around some 49ers, man. Like we got a lot of where we live at. We got a lot of Cowboy fans, Eagle fans. Like they're out of the playoffs, and right now it seems like the only thing maybe left in the area is like 49er fans, and they're probably hoping on their downfall, right? So I think some little NFL playoff football is going on this weekend for us.
Hey, man, look, after last weekend with my Cowboys getting sent home, I refuse to have my TV anywhere near Fox or CBS. I'll be watching some basketball this weekend. Hey, man, for the stat guy, for KB, man, y'all keep shooting them deep balls, keep chucking them buckets. We out of here. Swish.